and we're ready to
Hi,
go.
friends. Hi, friends. Happy Wednesday. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my story. Some of you guys may know it, some of you guys may not. And then I do have some tangible tips that I hope will help you learn from my mistakes. I've been in the business for 7.5 years. I don't know that I can say I blindly got into Beachbody because I actually watched my coach for 13 months before I did anything. And I was like totally envious of what she was doing. I was working 50 to 60 hours per week with a 3-hour round trip commute. I had 2 small children. My marriage had just come out of a super dark place. And I had tons and tons and tons of limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors. And I had pretty much done every quick fix under the sun. And I knew I needed some sort of change. And I had been investing into things like the It Works wraps and doing cabbage soup diets. And I literally would bring a scale into work and we would do these office challenges. So I was desperate for change. I just didn't know what that looked like. And so after watching her for 13 months, I got on the phone with her and I never will forget being like, I have no idea why I'm like sobbing and telling you my story. I just feel like maybe you could you can relate to it and you can understand and feel like you're going to help me. And my upline is Diesel Nation. So I'm kind of biased, but I think we have the greatest team in the world. And the energy was just infectious. And I literally, I never lacked friends, but I wasn't necessarily getting celebrated. And so to go into this community where it was like these strangers were clapping for me when I won and they wanted me to be successful. And it was helping me transform and get healthy from the inside out. So yes, I was losing weight, but I was also gaining life. My husband was getting the wife that he needed. I was healing from past traumas. I was talking about things that literally I didn't see people on social media sharing their fears, their doubts, their insecurities, their dirty laundry. And I felt like I was in a place where it was my responsibility to share that so that other people knew they did not have to walk alone. And here I am 7.5 years later. I have the privilege of leading a 5-time elite team. It does not happen overnight. It takes a lot of hard work and sacrifice. And I don't think that I'm an expert in time management, but I will tell you that along the way, I figured out some things that have helped me become a better leader, become a more present mama, and have shut down any insecurities or frustrations of my spouse because he 100% gets it. And I'll tell you guys a funny story. So probably in the last 6 months, I've really started making these changes in my business. And my husband actually was trying to hold me accountable. He's like, hold on, what's going on? Like, you're not like focused on Beachbody. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, no, I'm just working more intentionally. He was insecure with the lack of me being on my phone like this or constantly being on a team call or doing all the things because he thought that that was going to hinder me from growing and that I wasn't pouring my time into my team. And it was the exact opposite, was that I was unlearning some of the behaviors that I had done for so long. And along the way, I'm trying to teach my team to do the exact same thing. So I did put together a little presentation. So bear with me for just a second. Oops, let's see how do I get back there. Okay. I don't want to do that. I just want it to hide. Okay. I should also say, guys, I have been home with my kids for 5.5 or 6 years. This was my 6th summer home. And I never, ever, 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 ever wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I actually used to say that people who stayed home with their kids, like, they're crazy and that I would become an alcoholic. Lo and behold, I was already an alcoholic and I've been sober for 5 years now. So, well, in 2 months, it'll be 5 years. But I love being home with my kids and I could not imagine not being present for them the way that I get to today. And the older my kids get, the more that I know that they need me more now than they did when they were babies, because I'm literally like building this business around my kids' schedule. And my boys are involved in rodeo and basketball and football, like one's in high school football and one's in youth football, and it's 5 days a week. And my oldest that's in high school, they're doing weights and all the things, right? On top of wanting to have family time and all those things. So time management, how to build without burnout or resentment. Starting over doesn't mean that you failed. Okay, so if you've been doing all the things that I did for a really long time, that doesn't mean that you failed. We get to learn and we get to grow together. So I want you to learn from me. They say that the most important work that you'll ever do is within the walls of your home. And I truly believe that. It is my job and my responsibility, number one, to be a mama who takes care of her children and who serves them well and roots them within our beliefs. And if I'm constantly gone, no shame to anyone else, I can't serve them the way that I want to. I can't pour into them the way that I want to. And Beachbody has given me the time freedom and the flexibility to be able to do that. And so I'll start this by saying that if everything's a priority, nothing is. For a very long time, I treated everything as a priority, right? And it was like Beachbody, friends, then family. And I felt like I needed to constantly be so connected that if I got a message from challengers or a coach or a potential client, that if I didn't get back to it right away, that I was going to miss out on that opportunity. I'm here to tell you that's not the truth. We have to train people to understand that this is a business. I don't know any business that's open 24 hours a day. I don't know any business that's going to be responding to messages at 11 p.m., right? Unless that's how you work your business, right? Because you could have a job that's the only time you have to get your work done. But if you're constantly connected to your device and that's all it's controlling you, you're not running a business, it's running you. And I promise you, from past experience, I promise you it's going to burn you out, right? Amy Silverman once said that when you're in a in a group setting, the best thing that you can do for your team is set your phone down. Do you know how many times I've been at an event and I'm still trying to work and I'm still trying to send messages and I miss out on so much time with my people. I think if 2020 has taught me anything is that time is precious and that I love my people and I want to be 100% present in the things that I'm doing. Right? So making sure that you understand what your priorities are so that you can serve your people well, whether it be your business, your family, your spouse, your prospects, all of those things. Okay. Oh, let me go back. Trying to move the chat. Give me 1 second. Okay. So get clear on your calendar. You have the freedom to choose when and how you run this business. So if you're not already working from a calendar or some sort of system, because calendars might not work for you. Guys, I am a very hands-on person. Just tell me what to do and I will go do it. I've never been a spreadsheet person. That actually gives me anxiety and it's just not how I roll. But if I have my whiteboard up in the kitchen, everyone knows when team call is. Everyone knows if mom has a business opportunity call. Everybody knows if I am going out of town or if the boys have sports or if there's a doctor's appointment, right? So if it's up clear where everyone else can see it, that makes our whole lives get a whole lot easier. The other thing is I schedule things in my phone, right? So it's a reminder because as a mama of 3 who's running by the seat of her pants 90% of the time, if I don't schedule it, I'm likely going to forget it. Okay. Exactly. Yep. So you have to figure out what calendar system schedule works for you, and then you have to stick to it. Okay. So schedule everything out so that way you're not over committing to things. I knew this morning I had to get my power hour done. I knew I had a call for our Bling Squad, which is our upcoming diamond push, because we're kicking that off on Monday. I knew that right after I had this, and then right after that, I have to get my workout in, right? That's all scheduled today. Then everything else can go. Okay. Communicate with your family. When you can communicate those goals, everyone's going to be on the same page. They're going to feel more better about it. In the very beginning of my business, when I was really just starting to build this, there was a lot of times where my husband was like, holy crap, another call. But it's because I hadn't necessarily communicated what I was doing on those calls. And you don't want to build that resentment. Now my husband's like, how come you're not on a call tonight? Right? There was probably 2 years of this business where I did not watch television because it wasn't a priority to me and it wasn't aligned with the goals that I had. but I had to communicate those things to my spouse so that he truly understood what was going on. And I had to communicate the vision that I had for our life so that he could get on board, right? And again, now he's the one holding me accountable, saying, when are you doing your power? How come you haven't got, like, what's going on? Like, are you stepping back? Like, what's going on? No, I'm not stepping back. I've just already taken care of these things so that when you come home, we can do that. Or last night, I knew I had a call. I didn't go to the football field. My husband can handle that, right? There's a lot of times where I'm taking calls from the sidelines of my kids' sporting events. I don't think that that's going to hinder. I think what it is it's communicating to my kids that we have this freedom and the flexibility so that I can be present for these things, so that I can be the mom that is, other parents are like, hey, can you grab my kid? I'm running late at work, or I'm scheduled for shift. Can you grab my kid for practice? Right? I love that I get to be that. Last week, I was in Scottsdale hosting Summit. It was like playing Tetris, getting my kids shuffled and set up and all the things. I had to communicate. I had to schedule it. I also think that this is demonstrating easy things for my family to duplicate and then my coaches to duplicate so that they can say, well, she can do it, so can I. And all I have to do is take a deep breath and realize that the world is not following and that I can actually take care of all of these things. The other thing is making sure that you're tracking the things that you're doing. So when I say that, I'm talking about in your business as well. So I do a power hour 5 days a week. That's a non-negotiable for me. Sometimes it's more, but it's never less. I'm making sure that I'm tracking the things that I'm doing that I know are going to build my business, right? I'm also delegating, right? There are certain things in my business that I'm having someone else take care of. I hate graphics. It's not my jam. I actually just this year learned how to do a presentation like this on Canva where it doesn't give me freaking anxiety, where I'm not paying somebody $25 to make me a Canva thing. I figured it out. But as far as like the numbers and like the graphics, that doesn't spark joy in me. So now I pay someone to do that. And pro tip, let me tell you, in the beginning of my business, I felt like that wasn't something I could do because I thought it was really expensive. I promise you it's not. Yes, it's an investment, but it's an investment back into your business. It's a tax write-off. And if it's causing you stress and anxiety, I promise you, you can afford it. And then like my housework, like my kids have certain responsibilities and chores. My husband has certain things he does. I have certain things that I do. I pay someone to come into my house once a month and do all the deep cleaning, right? So figuring out what you can push off. If that means hiring someone to come into your house a couple days a week to help with kids, do it. If you're working a full time, but you're like, okay, my non-negotiable is I'm going to make $1,000 in this business and I'm going to invest 200 of that dollars into an assistant who's going to take care of all of my scheduling for my groups. They're going to do my graphics. They're going to do my newsletters. Like, that's worth your time. And it's taking something off your plate so that you can serve well, right? And lead well. And then make your schedule a non-negotiable, right? I just told you guys, for sure my workouts and for sure my power hour, they're two non-negotiables in my business. Team call Tuesday, non-negotiable. Well, it's Mondays now, but we switch it sometimes. Those are non-negotiables. The national wake-up call, non-negotiable. If I have to listen to the national wake-up call later because something came up with the kids or we have a conflicting appointment, I still go back and listen to it, right? When I was working 50 to 60 hours a week, guess what I used my drive for? To listen to replay of team calls that I missed, to listen to replays of the national wake-up call. I would schedule one-on-one calls with either my prospects or my new coaches because I could put it on speakerphone and just, pour into them. So I promise you, you don't need an extra hour in the day to get it all done. You just have to figure out where you can fit it in. Okay. And sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice the binging of the Netflix or the girls' wine night out, like whatever that looks like for you. For me, my business is a non-negotiable. My family first, non-negotiable. Church, non-negotiable, right? Those are things that I'm not going to take off my schedule. But I have to prioritize and I have to track it and I have to delegate and I have to communicate and I have to make sure that I can serve well. And that's first getting it on the calendar. Okay. Okay. But how? So your business first, you should always be in phase one. You have to be constantly working like you're a brand new coach starting on day one. I have a girl on my team who's actually my cousin, and she's crushing it. She's been a coach with me for 5 years, never really did anything in this business. All of a sudden, light switch went off. She's on fire. She's pushing for 1 star right now. And she said she treats every day like it's the last day of the month. Okay. Like if we all just had that mindset shift that every single day we have to work as if this, or at least 5 days a week. I don't work every single day, but I've got myself to a point where I don't have to, right? But to go into that and say like, it's the end of the month and I'm going to work my tail off. And I think it's so important too, that when you're in that phase one, remember why you got started. Number one. Number two, what keeps you going? And number three, what does that vision look like? And if you don't have a clear vision, it's going to be very easy to make these things negotiable. So for friends, if you have not figured out what that vision looks like right now, today I'm giving you permission to take some time and to put on some music and to go into prayer or meditation, whatever that looks like, and start writing out and casting that vision. And I'm talking about all the way down to the furniture in your house, the street that you live on, the company that you keep, the vacations that you have, the car that you drive, the colleges that you're sending your kids to, the weddings that you're having for them, how you're planning your retirement with your spouse, how you're able to give back in your community, how you're able to serve, how you're able to take care of your parents and your children's, like thinking about those things, because it's so freaking important. And when I think about my vision, everything gets really clear. And I don't get overwhelmed by life and the schedule, because I'm like, okay, all I have to do is take a deep breath and I have to go to work on my vision, because this isn't just about me. And when I'm in phase one, I'm constantly pouring out into other people who need this opportunity as desperately as I did. And so many people don't realize it until they're here, because I didn't. I thought I was joining for fitness and accountability and to lose 25 pounds and to get a discount on my shake. That's what I joined for. But along the way, I've gotten so much more. I've got sisterhood and community. I've had people who have helped me through the hardest struggles of my entire life. I've had people cheer for me when I felt at my freaking lowest. I've made some of the best friends and connections all across the world because of this opportunity. And not everyone's going to love it the way that I do, but that's okay. That's not going to dim my light anymore. I'm going to keep showing up and serving, because I know that God's given me this platform so that I can connect with other people, but it starts with me. So that starts with me pressing play, reading a book, drinking my shake, loving on others, inviting constantly, rinse and repeat. And when I say inviting, I'm not saying that you're constantly, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl. It's saying, hey Rachel, I've been watching you and I think you're freaking amazing. I think that we have a similar vibe and I'd love to connect more. Can we get on the phone? Like, I just want to learn a little bit more about you, right? Or it could be something along the lines, just reaching out to Jess and saying, sister, I just have to ask, are you a coach? Because I'm seriously so inspired by the journey that you're sharing, right? And figuring out what that looks like and how it feels good. How would you want to be invited? Right? Because I know when I get some of those spammy messages, I'm like, ooh, someone teach this girl, right? But when I have somebody reach out to me and they're talking about something that they genuinely love, I always respond, right? And if it's the workout outfits or the oils or whatever, I'll have a conversation with them. I'll let them add me into their groups, because we can build a friendship and a relationship, and health and fitness is never going out of style. And I know that so many people need what we have. They need the community. They need the sisterhood. They need the camaraderie. They need the recognition. They need the loving. They need the support, right? I say all the time, when people leave me, it does suck, but it's okay, because I think they'll be back. If I've done my job well as a coach and I've demonstrated and been the leader that I believe that I am, I'm confident they're going to come back, because they got a taste of what we do and they're going to want to be a part of it, right? So staying in phase one is making sure that you are doing the things that inspires you. Be the coach that you want, right? Make sure that you are spending time on the things that will give you the most investment, right? Making graphics isn't going to do that for me, but having conversations, getting people on the phone, doing sneak peeks, connecting and engaging on people's, Instagram stuff, that's going to give me return on investment. The other thing is make sure that you're setting timers. I work for 1 hour a day in the morning. The rest of the time it's working in pockets throughout the day. But for 1 hour, I'm intentionally showing up and I'm working off a list, and I'll share it. And you guys can, and it's so simple, you guys.
Hey, Melissa, don't want to cut you off. I'm looking in the chat and some of them are saying that they can't see the slides. I can see them on my end, so I'm not sure. They said they can only see the corner of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on. But you can see the whole thing, Rach?
I can, yeah. So I don't know.
Okay. Why don't I stop sharing and then I'll just share it with you guys after, because that's annoying. Sorry. Okay, let me pull it up so I can see it. Let's see. Let me make this small. Wait, I'll just pull it up on my phone. Okay, sorry. Glad you guys said something. I'll just share it afterwards and you guys can have it. Okay. So making sure that you're setting timers and doing that, because that's going to be diligent. Like if I personally don't get up and do my power hour first thing in the morning, and I go in and I try to take care of everyone else's needs and my kids, my business is going to suffer, because I'm trying to get the kids here and make them snacks and clean up the house and all the things. And so, yes, I sacrifice sleep in the morning to make sure that I carve that out. I'm an early riser anyway, so sometimes it doesn't really feel like a sacrifice, but I absolutely make sure that I have that, because it's important to me, right? It's important for me to make sure that I'm doing my job. Let me just make sure really quick. Now I can't see it. Next thing is, just making sure that 80% of your business time is spent on you. Okay. So I know that there's always a question of like, how much time should I spend like pouring into my team versus how much time should I spend building my business? My rule of thumb is 80% of my time is on my business, 20% is pouring into my team and developing, right? And that might seem a little backwards, but as you continue to grow and develop, you'll see why I have to stay in phase one. Why? People constantly quit. People will tell you that they're going to be your next top coach, and then they don't do anything with the business. They will come in and they will come back off summit and they'll say, I'm freaking in, I want to do this with you. And then 2 weeks later, they're gone. So I have to make sure that I'm constantly in phase one and taking care of my business, because this is my livelihood. This is how I did walk away from my full-time job to do this. Okay. And then 20%. And how do I pour into my team? Well, I'm making sure that I have one-on-ones, and 99% of my time, or of the time, my one-on-ones are 15 minutes only. And I ask them to come with an agenda, because this is their time, right? I need to know what they need from me so that I can help develop them and grow. The other thing is I host sneak peeks for my entire team. I do those 3 to 4 times a month. And I know that seems excessive, but when I do them 4 times a month, I guarantee I normally have between 7 and 10 new coaches. It's a lot. So you have to figure out what works for you. But it's something that I started doing this year. The last month I haven't, just because we're in summertime mode, but I need to bring that back as we are headed into the second half of the year. And it gives people an opportunity. And I would say if I do 4, 2 out of those times, I'm asking people from my team who are having success and are on fire to come in and do that. So that way they have something that they can share in the future. Right. So that would look like if me and Rachel did one, and then I reached out to Kristen and I said, hey, I need you to take 10 minutes and just talk about how this, being a part of our team has impacted you. And, if you've had a weight loss transformation or a financial transformation, like you fit those things in. Question is, what are you sneak peeking into the business? I do a full sneak peek on what the business is, and it's 30 minutes long. I don't keep them an hour long. I used to do them for 3 days where it would be a group, but now I just find that doing 30-minute sneak peeks, talking about what we do, how we earn, why we keep going, and why I believe everyone who wants this can do it. And it's just that. Hopefully that answers your question. And then new coach calls. I actually collaborate on a mentorship that I run with Jessica Lanier and Abby Burgess, who are 2 other elite coaches. And we run these on Thursday nights, and these are open to anyone in our downline, but they are tailored towards new coaches. And so we again go through how to send invites, how to get out there and share your story, the importance of getting to Emerald. We are going to be implementing why that you should go diamond in 90 days, like how to make connections, doing a facelift on your social media, and each week it's something different, and we run them 4 to 5 weeks depending on the calendar, and that is it. We also have a new coach training that is self-paced, and it was created by my upline, so it's a Diesel Nation one. It is available to anyone on our team who wants it. When people come in and they go read my welcome email and they go do that and they like finish it, I'm like, okay, you want to work, right? Because I was somebody who my coach offered a new coach training, but I just went out and found all the things. Like, I wanted to work. I didn't want to sit around and wait for the next assignment to come out. Like, I just wanted to. When you find those people, you freaking run with them. The other thing is team calls. Like I said, those are non-negotiable for me. And I would say three calls out of the month are guest speakers, because my team can hear from me all the time, but I think that we learn and grow better together, and why not cross collaborate and hear from other leaders who have had success and have tips and tricks and different things. And for that, I would ask your team, what do you need, right? And for a while I've done themes. So like this past month, it was all around how to continue growing during your struggle, right? Because even though this business is incredible, life still hits hard sometimes, right? And so making sure that you can't just completely stop. You can't just completely step away. You may have to lean on people for a while to help carry you through that season, but you still keep building this, because it's going to continue to pour into your life and do it in the actions that you do so. But then the other thing I would say is absolutely making sure that you're setting boundaries with the people that you're working with. I think that's so critical. And you have to set that expectation, because for a very, very, very long time, I would be available all the time, and then I would run into burnout, and then I would feel resentful, and I would feel like, well, how come I constantly have to work, and how come so and so, like, I just said I wasn't going to do anything, or I was going to take the day off, and now I have 5 people messaging me, but I was responding to their messages. So we train people how to we're going to work in this business. So you have to figure out what that is, and you have to stay disciplined in that, because it's so easy to be like, but I love this business so much, so I'm just going to keep working and I'm just going to keep responding. Promise you, that person who sent you the message at 11 o'clock at night is still going to be there the next day. You don't have to respond right away. And with the coaches on your team, if you are constantly the only one answering that question and always having to spoon feed them, it doesn't help them become a self-taught leader. Plus, like I was just talking about, when you say, hey, I'm not available right now to answer that, but go post that in the team page. More people can serve, and they feel like they're becoming leaders, right? So give them the opportunity to do so. This business does not have to be worked 24 hours a day. This business doesn't even have to be worked 8 hours a day. Now, if you're pushing for top 10, that might look a little bit different. I think it looks different for everyone depending on the phase. Right now we're in hustle season, right? We're pushing to be a 6-time elite team. I have really big goals for my team. I would love for us to hit 5-star in my second business center. That looks different than when I'm kind of just chilling. So I'm going to put a little bit more effort and a little bit more work. You just have to figure out if you are willing to do the work, and whether or not you're interested or committed to your goals. Because for me, I'm committed 100%. And even though it's not always going to be convenient, I might have to take a call from the lake. I might have to go find service on a camping trip. The flexibility and the freedom that this business has given to me is priceless. But I promise you, it gets so much better when you feel like, okay, I have a plan, and I know how I can achieve this, and I don't feel like I have to be connected all of the time. So I don't know if this is exactly what you guys were looking for, but it's my truth, and it's the way that I've learned and grown grown and developed as a leader over the years. And I really think that once you figure out what your plan is and you get really intentional about it and you show up consistently, that's where the magic happens.
Melissa, that was so good. Do you guys have any questions? We can open it for Q&A. If you do, just unmute yourselves, put them in the chat. Anybody? All right, let me look in the chat really quick and see if I see anything. So I can relate, Melissa, when you said being on a camping trip, having to find reception. That was me just 2 weeks ago, but I'll be honest, I was out there camping, stressing about finding reception for our team call, but in the exact moment saying, oh my gosh, how thankful I am for this business, because I am camping and I have the freedom to be camping right now because of this business. So that was another eye opener for me. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. It doesn't look like anybody has questions. Melissa, I appreciate your time. We'll be back here next Wednesday with Cassidy on how to close the deal. I love you all. God bless. Take care. Go rock your biz today.